they pay in tax. As a result of multiple taxation, this organization will come, or this agency will come, lies collection pool for taxes, and it should be a digital way of tax collection, not a person coming to your business or your shop or your container or your company or your factory trying to collect tax. It should be digitalized. By the time you make your returns every month, you will be able to pay your taxes without much hassle, and that is going to help Nigeria in terms of also the costs of administering those taxes. And don't forget that the revenue generation agencies also incur expenses. They incur costs in terms of administering those taxes. By going to wherever they go to collect the taxes, they incur costs. So that will also help government to save more if we have a centralized way of collecting our tax, so that it will also go a long way in encouraging people to do businesses. And also, as a result of this harsh business environment, I feel the government should also grant tax waivers to some of these businesses, and also incentives to encourage outsiders to come and invest in Nigeria, because that is key. Just like we were interacting with our guest during the week, Mr. Rufai, who said there are friendly policies that Republic of Ireland introduced that made some of the world's multilaterals to go and set up their headquarters there in Ireland, simply because of the incentive they get in terms of tax they pay. So we could also do that. We already know that a lot of foreign investors left the shores of Nigeria because of the unfavorable business environment that is here in Nigeria. Some as a result of government policy, some as a result of negligence in terms of the responsibility of some government agency, and some as a result of insecurity. So a lot of issues that you could look at cumulatively resulted in many businesses either leaving the shores of Nigeria or some folding up in Nigeria. So what the government needs to do to improve on these areas is what the government should pride themselves on. I think it's going to help it's going to help us to go a long way in having more investors. And don't forget that the issue of scarcity of forex is also another key. How do you get that? By bringing in more investors that will bring the dollar, so that you have a balance of trade in terms of the demand and supply of it. Because as it goes now, as it stands now, we are having more demand and less supply, which is also what is affecting our purchasing power, our currency, naira, losing to the dollar, because the dollar is in high demand, the naira is available. So government needs to also look at that, and I am very optimistic that President Tinubu, who has a knowledge in terms of that, and he will be able to form a team, although he has formed a kind of team that will look into our taxation in Nigeria. Let's see how far they can go. And also another key aspect is the ministers list that he's going to release any moment from now, talking about the cabinet. Those who you have with you on board will also determine how well your administration will do. And not to forget that, yes, I'm not going to turn a blind eye to the fact that there is still a case in court talking about challenging the Labour Party and also the PDP challenging the election that brought President Tinubu to power. Yes, that one is in the court. Let's wait for that to come up. But what we are saying is what we are working with now, because a person has been sworn in as the president. So we have to focus on what is before us now. Whenever anything comes up, then we will tackle it. Just like the saying goes, when we get to the bridge, we will know how to cross it. We will be going on a short break, and when we come back, we will switch to another headline. Stay with us and don't change your dial. This is Voice of the People 96.1. Front page recap is what we are doing.
This is not just another radio on your dial. This is
Voice of the People, 96.1 FM, Abuja.
Brace yourself.
So all I'm saying is,
oh man, wouldn't I love to go to
the beat rocks. Listen.
You're on the radio now, and we have to deliver.
And sorry, now
The jamming that we want to jam for you now. It's a new starting something.
This is brought to you in the event of an actual emergency.
VOP 96.1 FM, your interactive radio.
Variety is the spice of our station.
Voice of the People, 96.1 FM, Abuja. Now, you have a voice.
Baba Sani, remember that my daughter that will be getting married I told you about, and I'm sure that the cow I've asked you to keep is very ready. I don't want to hear story.
I don't tell am say make you no worry. If na cow I get am.
The problem I have with you people is that you don't understand the business. How can you Okoko want to go and buy cow? You now go and order from him.
Omo Igbo, whenever I want to buy meat, I usually consult our friend. Why are you not feeling it?
But I'm supposed to be the distributor. That is business.
Are you the seller for the cow? You get am for the cow? Now your own?
Both of you should not quarrel.
I am not here to quarrel. More with high chief. Talking to you is part of my introduction. Look at this bombastic element.
Journey with us to visit three troublesome friends. From the east, we have the money and container man.
Yes, it is me now. High chief, mire wiro nkizi na libo. You get me?
To the west, we have a man that eats only meat and loves owambe.
I still remain your one and only Otumba Owonikoko Agbabiaka.
All the way to the north, we have Baba Sani with his 40 children and 4,000 cows and still counting.
You are my people. Sunana Baban Asan. Na mi bonam po Asan and I get am for plenty cows.
Listen to Era Matters only on VOP 96.1 FM every weekday by 10:30 a.m.
Hey guys, check this out.
Every night, stories develop. So no matter where or how you want to end your day, the Evening Rush is here, keeping you informed, safe, and educated. Take a deep dive into all the stories live. From wherever you are. Let's talk news in a way that makes sense to you. The Evening Rush, weeknights from 6:15 p.m. only on VOP 96.1 FM Abuja.
لبيك اللهم لبيك.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Join the Assalam Peace Magazine crew on this station daily by 11:30 a.m. as we dissect and give detailed updates on this year's Hajj in Saudi Arabia, titled Echoes from Hajj. Eid Mabruk.
لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك.
Stay tuned for your daily dose of inspiration as we dive into the world of lifestyle and wellness. Get ready to elevate your mind, nourish your body, and ignite your spirit. It's time to unlock the secrets to living your best life. Join Formula U on Voice of the People 96.1 FM Abuja, Mondays to Fridays from 1 to 2 p.m.
Igbo bụ Igbo na-eburu m bata ọgbọ Igbo amaka ebe anyị na-akwalite asụsụ na omenala Igbo bido ụbọchị Mọnde ruo ụbọchị Fraịde niile malite n'elekere 8 nke ụtụtụ wee ruo n'elekere 9 ka ọ na-adị mee ebe ka ọ na-akpọtụ Voice of the People 96.1 FM Abuja. Igbo amaka Igbo bụ Igbo onye ọ dịbụrụ oche bịa kene nso ka anyị gwa na onwe anyị okwu a sị na iko ka okenye ji aṅụ mmanya mpịatọ ọzọ onye chiri Igbo amaka ewe m na-arịgo mmanwụ onye ọ dị bịakwa nso ka anyị mee na omenala mmerụ onyinye n'isi ewuo m.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard Industry Flight VOP 96.1 FM, where the rhythm of entertainment never stops. Get ready to groove with exclusive interviews, fresh music releases. All of the things I'm talking about.
All right, welcome back. And in case you just joined, you're tuned to Voice of the People 96.1 FM Abuja. And we are currently on the weekly recap, talking about front page recap. This is what we are doing right now. And thank God our guest was able to make it. He is with us in the studio, talking about Mr. Bashir Shitu, who is a political analyst and also a tech expert. But today we're going to be looking at mostly political aspects of the story. Someday we'll certainly take a look at the tech aspect of it. Thank you very much for coming. Good morning and welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, before your arrival, I was able to take one of the headline that we were supposed to look into together, but because of time factor, we will just move straight to the next story, which is that of Mesoma, the JAMB scandal that really caused a lot of controversy in Nigeria. Within the week, we just got this information that a girl who scored supposedly claimed to have scored 362 points during her JAMB actually forged her result. That is when the JAMB registrar came out to inform Nigerians that actually this girl did not score that particular score. And before then, we know that she was able to secure a scholarship, 3 billion naira scholarship from Innocent Motors, and also said to be rewarded by the Anambra State government. Yes, and back and forth, a lot of opinion flying here and there, people coming with their postulations, if I should use that, saying it was more of ethnic coloration, adding ethnic coloration to it, and saying people are against the Igbo ethnicity and what not and what not concerning that story. Could you just give us an overview of that story and your opinion subsequently?
All right. When the issue actually started filtering in, I didn't take it serious at first because I didn't think it was going to make airways until a friend of mine, KD, we attended university together, posted a JAMB result carrying his name, his registration number, but with a very high score.
Whoa.
And I was like, KD, how did you eventually sit for JAMB after university, and how did you arrive at this result? It was then I began to learn about the Misoma's story and all of that. But one thing I've come to notice is that it's not new. Actually, it's not new. You remember the case of Atong Gerald from Kaduna?
Yeah.
Okay, who never obtained JAMB form, never sat for
the exams,
but he had scored 380.
Yes.
But he didn't just stop there. He went to inform his clan that he scored highest in JAMB, and JAMB has refused to recognize him as the highest scorer. And his clan, without doing due diligence, went to stage a protest at JAMB office, claiming that their precious son actually scored highest. But to their dismay and disappointment, they were informed that their son did not even purchase the JAMB form, not talk of sitting for exam and all of that. So it wasn't the first time this was happening. Just this March, the Federal University Gusau in Zamfara State rusticated 27 students who forged their results as well. 20 of them were from UTME 2014, 2015, 2016 and 2018. So you see, Miss Omar's case is not actually a new this thing. You know, as far as 2007, when I started for my first JAMB, that time JAMB has not been unified, has not been digitized and all of that. There's this notion that there is someone somewhere who can actually help you upgrade your JAMB score. And they're actually there that time collecting people's money. We didn't know what they were doing at that time. Until now, we didn't even know that there is an app on Play Store where people can just go and enter their details and then it gives them forged results. But
wait, let me ask you this: does that mean if they eventually succeed in inflating their score, they secure admission to university with that same result?
Now, as far back as that time, JAMB had not been upgraded technologically as it is right now.
So I think it was unified in 2010.
Yes, a lot of things were actually possible that time. So people pay a lot of money to get their results upgraded at the time and all of that. It wasn't up till recently that we even know that maybe what they have been doing then is what we have just got to discover. But then asking JAMB to investigate this, like a lot of persons are saying, that it is not JAMB's responsibility to investigate Minoma's case. You see, JAMB role will be more like the proverbial Ekele bed in Chinua Achebe's what's the title again? His very popular novel where he said the Ekele bed says since the the hunter has learned to shoot without missing. I have learned to fly without perching. So JAMB has become that Ekele bird, learning to fly without perching. So there will always be stories of people trying to forge results. There will always be other entities out there trying to frustrate JAMB's effort at securing or taking against malpractices. So the responsibility of JAMB is to ensure that they don't succeed. We cannot say that JAMB is 100% flawless. No, not at all. But the board under Professor Ishaq Oyelede has actually made significant progress in deploying technology to manage its activities. Take it from NIN, the refusal of no third-party interaction, JAMB QR scanner, and all of these things are technologies that JAMB has deployed over the years to checkmate incidences of malpractice. But let's talk about findings on the app. We now know that there is an app, but you see that the data pulled from this girl's results QR code is the same as the one on all the results that other persons have printed, including my friend's own. Because I scanned that QR code too, and it displayed information for one Asimiyu, Miriam or Mobolande with reg number 11231597AC, who scored 138. Now, across all the results that have been generated by this app, this is the same exact report that you get when you scan the QR code. So that leaves us with the question of how the girl was able to get to know about the app in the first place. I just learned that they have removed the app from Play Store. Though I'll blame Google one way for not doing due diligence before allowing the developer to upload that kind of app up there. But then again, how did this girl get to know that such app exists to the point where she went ahead to edit her result on it and then presented it, even won a scholarship? Now, if some persons have not taken this up, be rest assured that maybe she would have succeeded with it. Yes. Maybe she would have gained admission with it. Like these 27 students that I mentioned, they were already students of the university. They gained admission with this result till they were caught. They were students of the university. Maybe this girl would have succeeded too until later on in life when it will be seen that she actually forged that result. But I think this will be lesson to a lot of other persons out there who intend to ply that road of forging certificates. It may not be now, it may be later in the future. We have seen a lot of government officials who have been disgraced from office as a result of forged results. Yeah. So it's not new, but it's wrong. It's certainly wrong.
And quickly, let me have your take on the moral part of it, especially when people start giving it an ethnic coloration, saying people are against this particular tribe, especially the Igbo, where JAMB later came out to say no, even the real person that got the highest score is still from the same state. So why would people have this kind of ideology over it? So do you think it has anything to do with politics?
No. I wouldn't say it has anything to do with politics. It has everything to do with do I call it pressure? I don't know if this is pressure from the girl's parents or pressure from her peer group. If there's anybody she swore to that she was going to make it high in JAMB, and as a way of justifying her claim, she had to go extra length to do that. I would look at it from that perspective, but I wouldn't say that it is ethnic in any way. If it were ethnic, the real highest scorer would not be from that same state. Yeah. If actually JAMB is against the Igbos, as some persons are now clamoring, how come the highest scorer in JAMB is still from the state? Maybe it would have come from another ethnic background. So it has no ethnical intonation at all.
So I think part of the lesson we should learn from this story is not to jump into conclusion without due diligence, especially.
And we should not politicize things.
We should not politicize things. Really,
it's not everything that works along the lines of politics.
Certainly. All right. Thank you for your thought on that particular. Although the issue have been settled now that we know the truth, because at some point a lot of people
the girl has been banned. Banned for 3 years.
A lot of people were saying no, this girl is innocent. Why would JAMB do this? In fact, JAMB should be scrapped. Why? What is the essence of JAMB? A lot of people got jumping into conclusion, and now that the issue is now clear, to the blind can see, the deaf can hear. So this is actually what. Let's move to our next story because of time constraint. That of Abakari. Yes, Abakari has been in detention for 18 months.
Our Super Cup.
Yeah, our Super Cup indeed. Who turned a bit dirty, if I should use that word, at some point. Yes, still in court allegation, but he has been granted bail in one of the cases he's answering, especially the one that concerns his failure to declare his asset to the NDLEA. He also has another case in different court, but this one one now, Justice Omotosho has granted him bail with some stringent conditions. Some people were even jubilating, saying, Abba Kyari has been released, but we should also make it clear to them that he's still under he's still in the custody of the correctional service, talking about Kuje, because he has another case to answer in Justice Nwite's High Court here in Abuja. So that is that about it. Now let's look at our criminal justice system. For instance, Abba Kyari has been in detention for the past 18 months. The case is still ongoing in court. A prominent example is that of Senator Ike Ekweremadu, former Deputy Senate President, who was arrested in the UK. The time frame from the investigation, prosecution, and subsequent sentencing was about 9 months. But Abba Kyari is here
18 months.
18 months. The case is still in court. No end in sight. Investigation is still on. What can you say about our judicial system, our criminal justice system? What can we learn from the developed nations?
Let me begin by clearing the air, just as you have said, that Abba Kyari's being granted bail is on fresh charges of non-declaration of assets.
Yes, which is a bailable offense.
And it has nothing to do with his drug-related charges.
Yes.
Okay. And the bail granted him has been tied to the judgment on the drug-related offense. That even if he has the bail bond to bring, until judgment is delivered on the drug-related offense, that bail cannot be signed. That's another thing we should look at. But I don't see his release coming anytime soon. I'm coming to your point, actually.
Okay.
This is because his counsel filed for bail shortly after the July 5th Kuje jailbreak and all of that. So his counsel filed for bail on the ground that their client's life was in danger, was no longer safe there. And then it was turned down. If that filing could be turned down, despite its magnanimity, and it was clear that his life was actually in danger being in Kuje, but yet it was turned down. I want us to look at this whole thing from an entirely different angle. Abba Kyari's escapade started after the FBI indictment.
Yes.
And his alleged compromise in the Hush Puppy case.
Before
that time, he was a celebrated super cop. And then the call for his extradition to the US came so that he can come face charges there. And all of a sudden, NDLEA came and labeled drug charges against him. He was arrested, and that's how he ended up here. But come to think of it, so no one knew he owned all these properties. No one knew he had over 207 million naira in his account. No one knew that he had over 17,000 euros spread across his GTB, UBA, and Sterling Bank accounts in all his years of service. Not even the Nigerian police, his primary employer, knew about these. All of a sudden, he was arrested because of the indictment and because of his proposed extradition to the US. This is it. There are rumors that Kyari's involvement may not be solo. I'm trying to justify the slow nature that judgment has taken in the case of Abba Kyari.
Okay.
It will not be solo because there is no way Abba Kyari would have pulled this stunt alone. Perhaps. I am just saying, this is my personal view, that there are persons who are above Abba Kyari's pay grade, perhaps people that he answers to. Because Abba Kyari is not the highest authority, was not the highest authority in the Nigerian police. There were people he answered to. Perhaps these people has vested interest. There is the tendency that if Abba Kyari is eventually extradited to the US and he's tried there and found guilty, there is the tendency that he will mention names that don't want to be compromised.
But why do you think the Nigerian police decided to suspend him when he was indicted in the whole matter?
Suspended.
He was suspended, yes, and to be investigated.
Yes, of course. Now, do you think they would have just paid deaf ears to everything? Now, I see this whole thing as an acted script. We will suspend you so that they don't extradite you. It will make it look as if we are taking action here. And if we are taking action at the local front, then we don't need to extradite you abroad. So they want to contain the matter within the country. That's why they had to suspend him, investigate, and then NDLEA came in. And these new charges by no means is supposed to be related to the NDLEA. If what I heard is correct, these charges were filed by the Attorney General of the Federation. through the NDLEA. There is no any other agency they would have used because NDLEA was already on Abba Kyari's case.
Yeah.
So the only agency that would have used to bring out these charges was this. So all of this I'm seeing is delay tactics. They want to delay this so that extradition doesn't happen because they are scared of the aftermath of the extradition. Believe me, if Abba Kyari goes out of this country and he's tried by the FBI, a lot of names will be mentioned. A lot of people will go in for this. And have you noticed too that since Abba Kyari's arrest and trial and all of that, nobody above his pay grade has been tried. Nobody above his pay grade has been alleged. Has been involved in the allegation. It has always been him and those below him. I heard that this case equally has his deputy involved. So there's nobody up there, and that's exactly what is happening. Keep this contained within the country. I believe one day you are going to call me back to this country and we'll discuss plea bargain for Abba Kyari.
The time will tell actually if that will happen. We don't have time. Talking about time, we don't have much time because unfortunately you had something that delayed you and you were not able to come on time. Let's quickly look at this in just 2 minutes. If you can just give us your take on the EU election report, talking about 2023 election report that EU released, which the Nigerian government didn't appreciate the report. They rejected the report and it generated a lot of controversy. While some were saying what the EU are saying is what actually happened. Glaringly, a lot of people have seen that happen. While some are even of the opinion that, okay, now it's time for election results because it did not favor the government. You are rejecting the outcome. But when it comes to financial aid, you will accept.
Yes.
So let's have your take on that.
It's okay. The 2023 election was one of the biggest ever conducted, and it had the prying eyes of about 230 observer groups, and the EU is just one of them.
Yes.
So I don't expect that we will take only the EU's observation report into cognizance and be making this too much noise about it. Okay. There were other international bodies who had observers on ground during the election. ECOWAS was there, Commonwealth was there, the African Union was there. Why don't we compare the observation report of EU and all of this before we draw a conclusion? And forgive me, I tend to stand with the government on this, and I stand to say too that I kind of reject that result. And I'll justify that in just a minute.
Okay.
To begin with, elections were conducted in about 176,606 polling units. Where elections were conducted.
Yes.
Now, one of the features of a good research is its reliability. And for you to ensure reliability, you must take cognizance of a larger part of your sample.
Yes.
Now, EU sampled only 110 polling units. 110 out of 176,606. And then they drew a conclusion. How do you get a reliable result from this sample? To mention too that they deployed only 100 observers for the election, not even enough to cover an entire local government. But
no, on that part, the 100 observers is not as if everyone has to be on the field. Some of them were at the what do you call it, situation room, and people are reporting from various parts of the country, and they are here to get the full feel of what is happening.
I understand. What I'm telling you is what is in their own report.
Yeah.
But how do you sample 110 polling units?
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that part.
And take it that it represents 170,000. The 606 has not even been exhausted. Before we talk of the 176. So what we should now do is, as the Nigerian government I will advise, let us first of all accept that the election was marred by malpractices in some areas. No system is perfect anywhere in the world. We must accept that and begin to work towards it instead of making this so much noise about EU report. But that does not change the fact that I reject it because I don't see the reliability. And then I'm sure that when EU submit their reports, ECOWAS, Commonwealth and the rest, and then we'll be able to have a clearer picture of what the EU, of the message that EU is trying to pass. But at the stand right now, we cannot base our conclusion on the report of EU alone.
I wish we could go on and on and on, but time is up for this particular show. So quickly, in few seconds, let's have your final parting shots before we will leave.
On what really?
On all the topics we've looked at.
Well, I'll start with Neoma's the Jam Girls saga, and I'll use this to advise other teenagers growing up. Do not buy not bow to pressure. Don't bow to pressure from your parents. Don't bow to pressure from your peers. There is always a demand on you as you grow up. There are expectations of people, but do the best you can. You don't have to go extra mile. Sometimes take illegal dimensions just so you can justify claims. I'm sure that is what must have pushed this girl into doing what she did.
All right.
With regards to Abba Kyari's case, I will still advise. I would have spoken a bit about Hush Puppy, but there isn't time any longer. But you see, many Nigerians of my age and of your age too believe in this get rich quick syndrome. And that's the reason why they have their hands in many illegal ventures here and there. You have Yahoo boys and you have runs girls, you have hookup girls and all of that, doing all sorts of things just so they can earn money. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really take us anywhere. Take Abba Kyari as an example. Take Hush Puppy as an example. Take Ekweremadu as an example. There is no one in the annal of history who has taken illegal path that doesn't end up bad. So we should take lessons from that. And then about the EU's report, I've already given you my verdict and I stand by it. But until we are able to get results from other prying eyes that were on ground during the election, I stand by my word.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Shitu, Bashir Shitu, for your wonderful perspective on this today's program. I will hope when we invite you next time, you will oblige us with your time and come to our studio.
Of course, I'm always at your service.
All right, Abuja, that's what we can take on today's front page recap, Saturday, 8th July 2023. Thank you for listening. Do well to stay with 96.1 FM, Voice of the People. We have a lot of quite interesting programs coming through. Don't change your dial. My name is Aliu Doma.